The Boulder City Sports Network is sponsored by Superior Builders, Inc. of Nevada, building spec residential and commercial with our investment partners for nearly 20 years. Contact Aaron at sbinevada.com for more information. And the I&I Music and Podcast Studio. If you're interested in using the studio, you can contact Dawn at iandimusic.studio. And EV Park, revenue-generating charging stations for apartments, hotels, offices, and short-term rentals. Contact sales at evpark.com to find out how your property can generate a new income stream. Hey there, I'm Don Rodriguez, founder of the Boulder City Sports Network, and I've got some bad news. We were unable to secure permission from the Clark County School District to air the Boulder City High School football games like we did last season. This isn't any fault of the school. As a matter of fact, I want to thank Coach Moore and Mr. Steckelberg and Ms. Wagner for all their efforts in trying to make it happen. The thing is, with Clark County School District, things are set up to happen within the system. And outside of the system, not too much happens. But I'm hopeful that in the future, the broadcast will be back. For now, we continue to produce the Coaches Show here from the I&I Music Studio. And here is your host, Rich Shuman.
Good evening, Boulder City. Welcome to another edition of the BCSN Coaches Show. Live from the BCSN studio, I'm your host, Rich Shuman. Tonight, the Eagles are off. It's a bye week for the Eagles, so we're taking it down to the foundation of Boulder City football, to the future of the Eagles and the Boulder City Bears. This is the program where the kids first strap on the pads, learn the game, and start dreaming about playing on Friday nights under the lights. And so joining me tonight is the man, the heart of it all, the head of Boulder City Bears, James Coach Cracolici. How you doing?
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
Thanks for being here.
And full disclosure for everybody, because Rich and I kind of know each other, and we have this whole Boston, New York thing going, that you may hear some references to 90s baseball that nobody else is interested in. So I'm just warning you in advance. We may make some references to some players that have nothing to do with football, and it's just me and him going back and forth. But maybe you'll still enjoy.
It does have the potential to get ugly in here. So, yeah. All right. Well, anyway, glad to have you here, James. Awesome to take a break from Eagles this week and talk about Bears. Let's start with Sun Jam last week, okay? We're going to go into the program and talk about that. We're going to have some questions from your players a little bit later. We'll talk about week one, what we have coming up. It's opening week for the Bears, but last week was a good time. We all went up to Mesquite and to St. George, and we had Sun Jam. So what was your takeaway from that?
Well, and for everybody watching that doesn't know what Sun Jam is, it's basically a big scrimmage day that the league that we play in, the Southern Utah Nevada Youth Football League, has out in Mesquite and in St. George, where you play 20-minute mini games against the competition that you will be playing in the actual coming season. So we had all of our teams were going, and we all got real experience against real teams. And I love the day, but it's very hectic. It's a very hectic day because you're weighing in the kids for the season. There are weight restrictions in our league for certain positions, so everyone has to meet a certain weight, or they have to wear an X on their helmet, which means they're a lineman. And it's a lot of organizing, getting people where they need to be, not to mention running from field to field. I also had an interesting situation of that. I coached two of our teams, our 8th grade and our 7th grade team, and there was some overlap in the games that we played. So I did a lot of running on that day. It was a very hard day, but Sun Jam was great. And I know you yourself were there coaching with our 4th grade team. What was your idea?
It was great. Thanks for asking. We have the 3rd and 4th grade team, me and Bubba, and Bubba's the head coach, which is awesome. I just assist him. I mean, he runs the show, but you know, we had so much fun watching these little guys compete for the first time against other teams, and man, I could talk all day about it. My son was out there, 3rd grader, first time playing against other teams. We played Mawapa in the third scrimmage game and handled them pretty well, and it was just a fun day.
It's great, and it's so much fun to see, especially your team. I always have a special place in my heart for the little kids that start playing, because some of that has been lost over the years. I mean, there was a period of time where youth tackle football was kind of dying off, and it's kind of made a mini resurgence now recently. And it's great. And I loved coaching back then. It used to be the Mighty Mites, and now it's and now we call them the Pee Wees
Yep.
in our team group. And I love the little kid teams. Like, those are my favorite. Their helmets are too big.
Yep.
They look like lollipops running around the field.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's my favorite age group to watch. But they're really learning fundamentals at a very early age. I feel like it's very important. But Sun Jam in general is a great experience for everybody, and really gets you into the whole community of playing youth football.
Yeah. How did the players react to the big stage, being out there for the first time this year? And
Different teams, the two teams that I handle reacted differently. I felt that our 8th grade team came out a little bit tentative. Now, in their defense, there were a number of players on that team that were trying to make weight. So they were cutting weight as though they were wrestlers. Which takes a real toll on you, and then have to play a football game immediately after you get weighed. It's a lot. So I understand some of the energy wasn't there when they were coming out. Plus, it's a very overwhelming day, especially for new players. And on that team specifically, there's only 8 returning players from the team that Bubba coached last year in 8th grade. Because last year we had a combined 8th and 7th grade. This year we only have just a solid to itself 8th grade team, a solid to itself 7th grade team that play separately. But last year it was combined. So the players, we only returned 8 players who had played last year. Everybody else is new. So it was a brand new experience for them. So it was a little overwhelming, and I understand that. The 7th grade team, on the other hand, returns a lot of players that played for me last year as 6th graders.
Mm-hmm.
We did make some very key additions. For kids that were still in our program, they just played on our flag side of our program, and they decided to move over to tackle for the first time for 7th grade. And they came out and they had a very, very good scrimmage. They played really hard. Both teams played really hard, but they didn't play overwhelmed. They knew what they were going into. They had done it before. They came out there. They knew we came in with a specific script. I wrote 10 plays. Typically you get 10 minutes on offense, 10 minutes on defense in each game. That roughly works out to a play a minute. Mm-hmm. So I come with a script of about 10 plays. I don't care where we are on the field. There's no situational awareness for what play I'm calling. I'm just going to call those plays in order down the list.
Okay.
Because I just want to see how they react to seeing it in a real game, and how the defenses will play them, and what works and what doesn't. Do I have to make some changes? But the 7th grade team, it was business. It was a business trip for them. They came and they did business, and they were ready to go. I spoke with the coaches of our 6th grade team, which is head coached by Coach Red, who, if you've ever watched any of our coaches shows before, he's been a guest on here with us. And Coach Red, they did very well also. They played a very, very tough Virgin Valley team on that, and who I believe was undefeated last year as 5th graders, and they're going to be very tough this year. I believe they played Moapa also, and they did very well against Moapa, which everyone wants to hear. That's the game that everyone cares about. No matter what happens, no matter who we play, the only game anyone in this town will ever ask us about is Moapa.
So
Whether
true.
you're in youth or in high school, it's the only game anyone ever cares about.
Well, even the 3rd graders, we had 3 games. The 3rd one was against Moapa. Bubba coached the first 2 games one way and the third game a different way.
and because we understand in this town it's important.
Yeah,
it is important. And as far as I'm concerned, and I have a very good relationship with the president of their youth program. Them and Virgin Valley are kind of a gold standard for youth programs. They're what I would like to be, what I'm emulating, and what Bubba and I have been trying to build together, like as an organization. Like, they're able to field teams in every single grade. And some of them, they field multiple teams in every single grade. I know Moapa has 2 8th grade teams. They have 1 7th grade team, 1 6th grade. Like, they have it across the board. They have 130 kids just playing tackle football. So that's where we want to be. That's our goal. That's where we want to be. We want to be able to level the playing field so that when we get to high school and we're playing Virgin and Moapa, like they're playing the same kids. We want to make sure our kids have the same experience going in. So then it just comes down to X's and O's and how our athletes perform, not that they have 6 years of experience on us because they've been playing since 3rd grade, and we started playing as freshmen. Like that, and that's what's been happening. It's been happening for a very long time. 3 years ago, we changed that, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But we're on target.
Good. Were there any plays that stood out to you from the weekend that you were a part of or that you watched? I mean, are there any highlights or?
Yes, and I'm not going to toot my team's own horn, but the quarterback play on my 7th grade team has surpassed even what I expected. Aiden Robles, who was on our 6th grade team but came in too close to the season to really, he was interested in playing quarterback, but by that point you come in, you're not there with the team that long. You can't like pick up playing quarterback. But all off season he worked as a quarterback. He came to everything, and he's now the starting quarterback on the 7th grade team. And he had a tremendous game. Him and Noah Walker I know you're asking for one play. They had multiple 40-yard bombs that he hit. It was like he threw it on a dime.
Wow.
Perfect passes. Some of the best throws I've seen in youth football since Asa Mariani. I'm not putting that aside. That kid is something else. And another one. Listen, when we graduate an 8th grader and the next year he's a starting varsity quarterback, I mean, that kid's good.
He is good.
So that's we're not even going to say anything about that.
Yep.
But that's a play that stands out in my mind because I was on the field, I was watching it, and I'm like, he just keeps throwing these dots.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know how he was going to do. Like, you don't know until you're in the game situation. You could practice it a million times. You can run other scrimmages, because we have done other scrimmages, but we've done them against the local Las Vegas NYS teams, which, that league, anyone that knows that league, they don't have weight restrictions. They don't really play defense. They put 10 men in a box and blitz everybody every play. So you can't really get a sense for what it's going to be like playing a real defense, and how are the safeties going to cover you? Are they going to come up are they going to play too high and you have to kind of read it? There's all sorts of things that go into playing real football, not what happens here, that you can see. And I was able to see that with Aiden, and he stepped up, and Noah stepped up that day, and man, they put together some
couple
pretty
big plays out of them.
Really pretty plays.
Was there anything that you took away from Sun Jam? I'm sure there was, that you obviously had to go work on right away, that just kind of stood out, like, guys, we need to go hit this. Maybe special teams, or maybe it was, I don't know.
Well, not really special. You don't really work on special teams during Sun Jam.
Yeah.
So that's something that we do have to work on because it's week 1
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But no, there's definitely things we have to work on. On our 8th grade team, and again, some of that comes down to their real first experience in this situation. They were a little I don't want to say timid, it's the wrong word, but they weren't aggressive. They weren't firing off the ball. They were waiting for plays to come to them. They were sitting on their heels on defense and letting the play come to them rather than going towards them, rather than forcing a play. Make the offensive player make a play. Don't wait for them to make a play sitting on your heels. And there's some of those things that we had to do. We did lose it. I think it was the middle game. One of our top players on 9th grade, we lost for a period of time because he got his bell rung. He took it pretty bad. His head's good. He checked out, no concussion, but his neck was sore. So he sat out pretty much all of the Virgin game, and there was whatever the third. I forget who we played in the third game of that. So there was a little bit of kind of messing around on the fly to see who we could put into his position, because he plays a very significant position on the defense and one of the hardest hitters I've had in youth football. So that's it. There's some things like that we have to kind of work through. I need to make sure that the people who do rotate in, there's no real step down. Everyone needs to be a jack of all trades. You have to be able to step in no matter where the coach needs you to play, because you never know. You never know when they're just going to need you to take a position. So, for whatever reason, you don't have personnel like, listen, I need you here. Can you do it? Yes. Yep. You throw them in there.
How did we match up physically with the other teams? Were we overmatched, undermatched, pretty equal?
No, I thought we were definitely, I believe for 8th grade at least, we were even. We were at least as physical as they were. We were definitely as big as they were. We spent a lot of time this offseason making sure we get some bigger kids from the town to come and try football. There'd been a period of time where, like, there wasn't really a push for it, and maybe kids thought, oh, I'm not athletic enough, or I'm not. Well, let's just come out and try.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll like it, and it worked. And we have some really big kids that have their athletic ability came out of nowhere. Like, they didn't realize they can do it. One of our captains on the 8th grade team, Bobby Kelly, when he started, very, very quiet, very like standoffish, very like wasn't very aggressive playing. One day, and I love when that happens. It's the one thing about coaching, especially youth, where one day it just clicks. And one day at practice, out of nowhere, a kid that was always backing up, always getting pushed, started going forward and started hitting other kids, and all of a sudden was pushing everybody else out of the way and became a force. And I'm like, those are the stories, and that's why I do. Honestly, that's why I do this. Like, watching a kid that comes out of nowhere, who found something in themselves that they didn't know was there. And the smile on that kid's face when I named him one of the captains is something I will never forget. It choked me up a little bit because he didn't know it was coming. But I want to make sure that the kids understand that that's appreciated, because he put in the work. He came to all our off-season practices, all those, like, we had OTAs, like optional team activities. You didn't have to come to them, but he came to every single one of them. And then he was here all summer, and he never missed. And then one day after we put pads on, it all clicked together. And man, it felt so good as a coach, so good as a human being to see that in that kid. And now, like I said, he's a leader on the team, and it's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the same stories on the 3rd grade team. Of this nose guard Jackson, who, first day of practice, just the sweetest kid. Couldn't get him to hit anybody. Couldn't get him to push anybody. Also, the biggest kid on our team. And I just used to tell him, you just got to get a little bit angry, JJ, and get out there and hit somebody. And now he's doing it, and he's feeling it, and he's
I think
coming
Jackson,
to his own.
And I've seen Jackson. I've watched the film. I watched the film of all of our teams, and I watched the film of your games. And I was watching him out there because he's one of my. I don't have favorites, but I love that kid.
I do too.
So and I think he's going to be great in the future. He's just got to stick it out. But that's great to hear that you see that too on a daily basis.
No, it's fun to see. Okay, so Sun Jam was a success. Can we talk a little bit about the Bears program in general?
Of course.
I'm going to back it up a little bit. So we have right now an 8th grade team, a 7th grade team, a 5th and 6th grade team, a 3rd and 4th grade team. So that's 4 tackle teams.
Correct.
A whole gamut of flag teams.
Yes.
Even a cheer program? Is that?
We do.
Okay.
So this year our flag program is we have a big girls flag program. That's actually our largest program now on the flag side. It used to be our co-ed program, but we've been building up because, again, as you know, girls flag football is a high school sport.
It's huge.
So we want to make sure those girls are getting as much time playing that on our side and for Garrett as they can, so that they're ready when they get into high school to play flag football. It is very important that those girls are on the field playing, whether it's for us, whether it's for them, or whether it's for both, because some play both.
Yep.
It's really important that they do that. So we have a 10U, a 12U, and a 14U girls teams. So that's 3 girls teams just right there. And on the co-ed side, we have 8U, 10U, and 6U. Who doesn't love 6U? It's 4, 5, and 6-year-olds running around the field. That's a great age group to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have the concurrent flag and tackle program that are running at the same time, and we started a cheer program last year. There were some start and stops as we were kind of figuring it out. This year, the program was taken over by Allie Campbell, and she is really building it up. She used to work the cheer program for Henderson Cowboys, but all her kids went to Boulder City, and she's from Boulder City.
Yeah.
And now she's one of us.
Yep.
So she's been building our cheer program up, and they're going to cheer whatever home games we have here, and they're looking at some competitions and then maybe some other showcases. But I'm really excited about that part of the program. My daughter's a cheerleader.
Yep.
She's cheering in college right now. And that's one of the things that I always felt that football and cheerleading as a program go together.
Yeah.
No matter what youth league I worked for or I was a board member of previously, it was always together. It was always football and cheerleading as a program together. And we didn't have a football program out here either, but we don't have even some of the other football programs out here don't have a combined thing. And I think it's important to keep it all together.
So what is the mission of the Boulder City Bears?
Ultimately, in the long run, it's to prepare players for Bubba's program in the high school so that they can win a state championship for Boulder City High School.
Okay.
That is the ultimate goal. What I'm doing is I'm trying to prepare those players so that I can give them the tools they will need for Bubba to perform his magic that he does with everything that they do up at the high school. And a lot of that really is like they need to learn game speed. They need to see once you start playing the game, you see it differently. And the more reps you get, the better you are in the long run. And that's really that's what our purpose is to get them as many game reps as humanly possible, which is why I will schedule as many scrimmages as I can, as many things. I just want them to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
The more they play the game, the better they're going to be in high school. And you never know, like I said, just like I said with Robert, you never know when it's going to kick in. A kid that may not have it as a 7th or 8th grader, but they started playing then, suddenly it kicks in as a sophomore. Now, had they started playing as a freshman, maybe they never got to that point, you know? But so by kind of pushing the ages back that they're starting, we're getting them to their ultimate potential earlier. And that's really what we want to do. And now that we have kids like your son playing on the 3rd and 4th grade team, just think of that potential. They'll have gotten to play from 3rd grade all the way up until 8th grade in our program, and then go into the high school. They already have all those years of football experience before they play one single down in high school. And that's so important in this game, especially at the high school level.
So true. I mean, even my son, who's a freshman playing football, played the 7th and 8th grade year.
Right.
And I can't imagine him just strapping on pads for the first time this year as a freshman playing football. He might not even wanted to do it.
And before Bubba took over the program, and when I was, my son was a freshman, there was no youth team. So he started playing tackle football, and we also had the COVID years in there, like before while he was in middle school, so it might not have even been an option. But as a freshman, he had to learn to play tackle football. Like that freshman season, I watched how terrible that freshman season was and what it looked like, and I left there saying, we need a youth program. And that's when I started working on it on the side. And then Bubba came in and had the exact same idea. And then we kind of found each other and we're like, let's do like I want to do this. He was forming the Bears. I at the time was trying to form the Junior Eagles. We joined forces and we just and from there, like this beautiful thing that we've been able to build has happened. You know, and honestly, it would have never happened had he not taken over the program. Like I wasn't getting anywhere. With where I was about to the point where I was going to walk away and say, you know what? My son's in high school. I don't get anything out of this anymore. Like, I'm just going to let it go. Like, it just stinks for Boulder City. We're just never going to get we're never going to get enough experience playing youth football. We'll just keep middling as we do in the high school, and that's all it is. And then he came in with this idea, and it exploded from there.
That's awesome. You know, you really pour your heart and soul into this program. I know you do because I have 3 players in the program, a daughter who's coached in the program. I mean, 4 of my 5 kids have been Bears one way or another. Go back to, you know, when does the season start? I mean, when do you start actually bringing kids out to play football? Because I was getting invitations like at Christmas time to go play football.
Well, I never really, my poor wife, I never really have an off season.
Yeah.
I do have slower times than others, but it's important, especially when you're building any kind of program or a brand for that matter, you have to keep in front of people's eyes no matter what. So I'm always trying to do something, whether it's social media or in town, to keep the Bear name, the Bear logo, the Bear kids in front of the town so that other people see it. So I create FOMO, you know, fear of missing out amongst people. It's the same reason that like you pay for advertising, like that Coke, that you'll see a Coke can somewhere, or like that you need brand recognition, and brand recognition is important, especially in what we are doing. So I needed to create a situation where the kids saw all their friends playing or saw them on the Christmas parade floats and said, I want to do that. Like, I want to be one of those kids. I want to wear my jersey to school on Fridays, because we do ask them to wear their jerseys to school on Fridays, just like the high school kids do. I want every kid to try it. Like, maybe football's not for you. Maybe you like a different sport, but give it a try.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know if that's going to be your sport. Maybe you'll like it. And then you'll realize, oh, it's not as bad as everyone says. Every single year, a kid will come to me after the first week of actual contact practice and say, I thought it was going to hurt more. Like, I thought this was harder. And that's like, I was always afraid to play. Every year we've done this, and once they start doing it, they realize, oh my God, it's not. This is doable. This is within my skill set. That's why we've been playing football in Boulder City since 1941. 1941.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like, my high school wasn't that old.
Yeah,
like the high school I went to was built in 1971. Like, it's like the fact that there's such a storied history in this town, that we have 12 state championships for football. There are so many schools that cannot say that. Now, we need to get back on that track. And by doing what we're doing, we're trying to produce the players that will get us back on that track. And I think we have shrunken that learning curve now. We may not be to where those other teams are yet with our players, but we're getting there. And we will get there, because now I'm giving Bubba better prepared players to work with. And now there's less introductory things they need to do when they get there. And they can just teach them to play what they need to play at that level.
And the numbers are growing. I
Yes,
mean,
they
the
are.
proof's right there, right? So how has the program progressed over the last, 3 years, 4 years?
It's 3 years.
3 years.
We're officially in our third year.
Okay.
I mean, technically, we had our 2-year anniversary on May 18th, I think it was, something like that. So we're only in our third year. And I would say exponential growth. We have doubled in size every year. We started our first year, and your son was on that first team we had, with 1 tackle football team. We then moved to last year 2 tackle football teams. This year we have 4 tackle football teams. Next year I hope to have 6 tackle. You know what I mean? So we have been essentially doubling. Obviously, if I doubled, I'd have 8. But I think that's a lot to ask for a town as small as we are. As much as I could try to get every single kid to play, I don't know that I could get 8 youth tackle football teams. That's a really huge ask to do. But and on the flag side, look at the girls' flag program. We weren't really sure what we were going to get in the first year. We had a 13U girls team, and then the following year we added additional younger teams, and then this year we have the three teams. So that's growing also. And the idea is to just keep them playing, get out there, do as much as you can.
And so when does it start? I mean, so there's,
you did ask me.
Yeah, there's I kind of forget how it goes, but I know there's optional practices, and there's practices over the summer. I mean, how's it go?
So I always look at the end of our season as the Boulder City Christmas Parade. Okay. That's when I consider the season over. When we get those kids on those floats, when I'm done with that day, I say I'm on vacation for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
At least, actually, it's really a couple of months.
Yep.
Usually around now, I may be posting videos and highlight videos, during that interim time to again keep us in front of people's eyes as much as humanly possible. But usually around like the end of February, March, we start having optional team activities. Again, it's not required. You don't have to do it. Most people play spring sport. Most of the kids are playing baseball or doing something else. But we do it. This year we did it 1 day a week, Monday nights, and we just teach you fundamentals. And I'm very grateful to the high school coaching staff, because they're the ones who ran it. Just on their own as volunteers. Wow. Like nothing like we didn't ask. We said, would you be willing to help us to help out? Because I can't do everything myself. Bubba can't do everything himself. We only have a handful of other like just part-time coaches or volunteer coaches. And that I'm telling you, those kids got so much really hands-on good instruction from high school level coaches, something that you will not get in other programs, that it was just invaluable to them. And it really got some kids that were like thinking about playing to decide, oh yeah, I want to do this. Like, this is what we're going to do. So I would say around the end of February, early March is when the season starts for me. The real kickoff for us is usually when school lets out.
Okay.
That's when the kids, that's when it's still optional. You don't have to come, but that's when we may have hold clinics and things like that over the summer, or days that you can come in. And then, when official practices start, that's when everything.
That starts in.
That's usually August.
It kind of mirrors the high school program,
it's
right?
it's roughly around when the high school goes back. It's a little bit after. I forget
So you practice
exactly
a lot over the summer.
Yeah.
A couple days a week, and
just to get out there, keep them moving, like maybe a walk through things. It's just to introduce them, and again, because it's not official. Like, anybody can come to it.
Okay.
Like, somebody I use it as almost a sales tactic for kids that may be interested in playing.
Awesome.
Come to these things, register, and play.
Yep.
Like, that's really what it comes down to, because you never know you never know the diamond in the rough that you're going to find.
Yeah. You mentioned coaches. I mean, how do you pull together coaches? What can you say about the volunteer coaches within the whole organization up and down? You must have a bunch of them, and
coaching is the hardest thing to get at the youth level, especially with the standards that we set, because we're not, there's a lot of programs that'll take any dad off the street that'll want to do it. And I don't want to say no to those people, but I prefer people that do have experience. People that have experience either coaching or have a significant high level of experience playing, or, so for example, Brian Bradshaw is an assistant coach on our 8th grade team. Everyone knows who he is. He's been coaching for 30 years. He's one of our high school coaches.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that our kids are getting instruction from somebody like that as a coach is invaluable. I have Michael Hansen, who was a Division I coach, a linebacker coach at Iowa State, which is, again, they're being taught defenses that youth players don't get taught. There's a reason why our 7th grade team did things in those scrimmages that those teams weren't prepared for, because they've always been taught, like, usually at the youth level, it's see ball, run to ball, tackle ball, not read back, read guards pulling. Like, he's teaching them how to read plays as a high school player would do. They don't usually get that in 7th grade at all. So the fact that he's teaching them advanced, and we had a discussion very early on, because he said, do you care if we win, or do you care that these kids know how to play football? I said, no, we're developing football players. I don't care if we go 0-8. I said, develop them defensively. He goes, because I'm going to throw some advanced techniques and advanced things at them. I said, good, do it. Get them to learn it now. That way, when they get into high school, they're automatically reading the back. They're automatically doing those things. Obviously, our 4th grade coach is the varsity head football coach. You don't get better experience than that as a football coach. One of his assistants is a female professional football player for the Las Vegas Stars.
She's awesome.
And that, right, Silver Stars?
Yeah,
I think it's Silver Stars. And she's a tremendous football player.
She is.
And her kids are good football players.
Yeah. Her daughter plays on our team.
Yes. Or your daughter.
Yes. Her daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I know that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing.
So it's tremendous. So it's such a and you are one of our coaches too, Rich.
Yep,
Don't sell yourself short there.
I'm out there.
And on our 6th grade team we have Coach Red, who's everybody's favorite coach.
He's the hype man of all hype mans.
Yes, and by the way, Coach Red is up for Best of Boulder City.
Yes, let's vote.
He's for Coach of the Year. So anybody that's watching this that wants to give Coach Red a vote, it would be appreciated, because there is no coach that the kids love playing for more than Coach Red. Not even a question. And his staff, he has Brandon Senger, who has one boy who came through our program that's now starting as a sophomore in the varsity on the varsity team, and another boy in our program that's playing on his team. You know, and Morgan Magaha, he's a coach that came over. He's had a lot of flag experience, but he knows a lot of things about offense. He's been doing a great job. And the last one's Kareem. Everyone knows Kareem from town. So, you know, and Kareem's in coaching, and he played at UNLV, and he's a real good, he's a great guy to have out there. He knows his stuff, and he's really aggressive, and he gets the whole program. We have a great group of coaches. You know, but again, it's still not enough. Like, I'm still coaching 2 teams. Like, in the best of all worlds, we would have found another me to coach one of the 2, whether it's 7th or 8th grade. We couldn't find somebody, and now it's too late, obviously, because now we're in season, and you have to be credentialed and background checked. All of our coaches have to go through training. All of our coaches have to get certified. You have to wear a badge on the field, like not like the local league does here. The league we play in, if you don't have your coaching badge, you do not go on that field. So it's important, but.
And, you know, you've always made it affordable, as affordable as possible to play football.
Possible.
I mean, how do you do that? How do you raise funds for this? How do you?
Well, we're a nonprofit.
Yeah.
We don't make money at all. It's beg and scrape together as much as we can. I have so much admiration and thanks for the businesses in Boulder City that have sponsored us. We wouldn't exist without them. Sponsorship is one of our number one the number one things that we work on. You know, and then it's fundraisers and we just try to keep the cost down as much as possible. I know other teams in our league charge $350 to $450, and this year we charged $175. Like there's no comparison how much $400 is to a family that will preclude kids from playing versus being able to do what we do. And we still are able to get scholarships through some wonderful benefactors in this town. So,
well, we appreciate everything you're doing with the Bears. I personally appreciate it all. Like I said, 3 of my kids coming through the program, and, you know, it's been awesome. So thanks for that. Thanks for continuing the mission and pouring your heart and soul into it. This week, opening week, who are we playing? What do we got going on?
Okay,
who's
so
the
I know we're running up against a hard stop. So
are we? Do we have a time limit?
I don't know if we have a time limit, but I know we're taking. I am very verbose, as everyone knows. So I will speak forever if you give me the opportunity. So I'll try to tighten it up a little bit. Our 8th grade team opens up in Cedar City against the Cedar Red Wolves. That's going to be a great game. They have a great program up in Cedar City. It's a long drive, but it's worth it. And quite frankly, the weather up there at this time of year is beautiful. It's 80 degrees and breezy up there while it's 100 down here. So our kids go up there and all of a sudden they have energy because they're not playing in the dry desert heat anymore. They're playing in 80-degree weather. I remember when we did that last year. It was such a huge difference. Our 7th grade team opens up against Desert Hills in St. George, a team that we did play last year as 6th graders who have a great quarterback. Their quarterback can throw like dots, like with an arm. You know, it's whether his receivers can get to him, but that quarterback is a force to be reckoned with, and he's and we have our hands like really like tied this week to try to put a stop to that kid because I'm a little worried about that kid.
Yeah.
Our 6th grade team is opening up in Hurricane, which, by the way, I don't know why they call it Hurricane. It's spelled Hurricane. I called it Hurricane until I was corrected by everyone in the world that it's Hurricane. I said, that's not the way it's spelled, but okay. And they open up against Hurricane. I don't know. We didn't play them last year, so I don't really know what to expect from them. But Coach Red has a tremendous team, and there's still a number of kids on that team that were on our undefeated 6th grade team last year. So I expect they're gonna have a great season. And you guys open up against Moapa, if
we
I'm
do.
not correct.
Yeah, we're in.
Oh, what an opening day for the program.
It's gonna
for
be
the
great.
4th graders.
It's gonna be great.
You don't get more exciting than that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on,
Yeah.
Moapa game 1. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're in St. George at 1 o'clock, 1:15 in the afternoon against Moapa. We just saw him last weekend, so we get to go see him again. Very much looking forward to that.
That's awesome. That's great.
That competition.
That's great.
Yeah. Do you feel like your teams are ready? What's kind of been the focus this week in practice going into this week?
It's always hard coming back from, I feel like, scrimmages, because you get that first week, that transition, you have to kind of get into a routine. Like once you're in the season, you have a routine. You have game, off day, maybe you'll watch some film on Monday, maybe not. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, and then you're ready. You go to the varsity game on Friday nights, and then you go play on Saturday. Once you're in that routine, I think the kids really lock in. These first couple of weeks as they're getting that routine is always a kind of a difficult transition. Our practices yesterday, I don't want to say were bad, but they were weird, if that kind of makes sense. Their heads weren't completely around it, and I kept telling them, like, you understand this is week one. Like, this is it. This is all the preparation you've done, some of you since March. Now is when it matters. Like, this is what we're doing this for. We're playing real games that count in the standings, and you only get 7 conference games that count. We'll have 8 games, but we have 7 conference games that count to making the playoffs. You have to win at least 4 to make the playoffs. I mean, you win 3, you're out. So focus. Like, you need to focus. So, but this week is always, it's always about wrapping the kids' heads around it and getting them ready to go.
Yep. Okay, so we're all ready to travel this weekend. Any message to the parents before the game this week?
No, just be supportive.
Yeah.
I mean, and remember we're in Utah, so you got to watch yourself.
Yep.
You got to watch your language.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that just to be dismissive. It's an important thing in this league. Like it is important in general. I think that some of the local teams out here do a lot of talking, and they use a lot of bad language, and they use a lot of, like in Las Vegas, I mean, and in the transition that we have to make sure we make is that while we scrimmage those teams, that's not the way you act when we go to play the teams in our league. And you really need to elevate yourselves as players and as people. You don't need to talk trash. Just let your actions on the field matter. Like that's what should show out. Yeah. Like win the game, play the game hard, play the game with passion and violence and all those things that you need to do as a football player. But play it right.
Yep.
And you don't need to taunt people after a play is over. You don't need to showboat. You know, I was always a believer. They score a touchdown, you give the ball to the ref, and you run back to the huddle. Act like you've done it before.
Yep.
You know, like they always said on a home run. I was always one of those ones. If you hit a home run, you don't throw your bat. You don't do that. Act like you've hit a home run before.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be a big deal because you're that good. You're that good a player. You don't have to celebrate. You're just gonna perform, and you're gonna score a touchdown, and then you're just gonna hand the ball, and you're gonna run back, and you're gonna score again the next time. That's what you need to do.
I like that. Well, we look forward to having you back in future weeks and maybe talk about some of the players on the team, going to go through the rosters.
Sure.
I think we're a little short on time, but I came out to practice Tuesday night, and I got to run into a few of your players, and they have some interesting questions.
I've seen you do this with Bubba,
yeah.
so
God
only knows what this is.
Mind if I throw you a few of these?
All right, go ahead.
I'll be honest, I had to cross out a couple of these questions because they just weren't appropriate.
Well, you are dealing with middle schoolers.
True.
It's not like dealing with the little kids, so I can understand why you would do that. I think middle schoolers are actually worse than high schoolers, to be honest with you.
I love this first one because I love to give you a hard time about this. We're both from the East Coast, and we've played in some weather, and we kind of understand weather. So Colton Newberry said, "What's your policy on impending rain for practice?"
I said, "You will get wet."
Yeah.
Look, you could.
I text you every time it rains. Are we still having practice?
Well,
and just to give you a hard time.
Listen, for parents out there, understand that the coaches in this town all know each other, and we all talk, and we all make fun of you when you ask us if when it's raining if you're canceling practice. Because obviously you're in a desert, you're not used to it raining, and most of us come from other places where it rains all the time.
Yeah.
Like unless it's lightninging. I don't know if that you can really make a plural.
Unless there is lightning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
English sometimes, you know.
It's a Boston thing.
Yeah. Hey, kid. No. But yeah, unless there's lightning, and then there's rules about you need to wait at least 20 minutes after the last like sound of thunder, things like that. But rain, you're not gonna melt. They're not M&Ms that you're bringing out in the rain. It's just they're kids. Like you're wearing equipment, and quite frankly, we're in a desert where it's hot. Like
enjoy it.
I loved, and again, this is like when we played in the East Coast where it rains all the time. Like, I loved when it was raining and the water was running down my shoulder pads and it cooled me off. Like, that was the greatest thing that was happening when I was in equipment.
Yeah.
Especially when it's hot. Now, when it's cold, it stinks. But these kids out here don't have to play in the snow. I mean, but don't get me wrong, I loved playing in the snow.
Fun
Playing
too.
in the snow was awesome.
And the mud.
But now there is no mud
No
anymore
more mud.
because everything's a turf field. But
Yeah.
I did love playing in the mud too.
Michael N. wants to know who are the top 5 hitters.
Michael Nakamura.
Yeah.
Well, Mike is asking that question because he knows
thinks
that
he is one?
Michael is one of our hardest hitters.
Yeah.
Maddox is one of our hardest hitters on that team. I would say on our 7th grade team, maybe Aiden Robles is one of our top hitters. Matthew Edwards is one of our hardest hitters. I'm trying to think. Colton Hawkins can really lay someone out when he applies himself. Easton Rance is a really good hitter, but man, Matt, and I know I'm giving a lot of 7th graders, but by far the 2 best hitters on our 8th grade team are Michael and Maddox. It's not even. I mean, those kids hit like a ton of bricks. I mean, a ton of bricks.
You got him at linebacker?
Yeah. No, I watch them. The kids will actually like back. Oh, and Chase Daly is another one that hits like a ton of bricks on the 8th grade team. Like kids in practices, well, I watch them in line when we're doing drills. When they count
a
how
spot,
many,
yeah,
they'll count how many until one of them are, and I see them kind of like inching back and going into a different place in line. They don't think I see them doing it, but I watch them do it.
Oh yeah.
I just don't always call them out on it. But we have some great hitters, and Matt actually set the tone in our scrimmages. I think it was our 2nd play from scrimmage. And it was a perfect form tackle, but the sound that it made set the tone for the day. It was one of those ones you hear from the sidelines and you go, ooh. And that's what it was. Perfect form tackle, did exactly what we teach them. Get low, head up, rotate your hips as you go through them, head to the side, and it was just perfect. The kid lifted up and went down, and it just set the tone. And we have some good. The one thing that everyone that's an Eagles fan can look forward to is these kids will know how to tackle and will know how to hit when they get to high school, because that's something that is important going across the board.
Very good. Noah wants to know, what position did you play when you played football?
I mean, I moved around. The most position that I played was I was a defensive end for that was my primary position, because I played varsity as a sophomore, and I played defensive end. So I stayed there sophomore and junior year. As a senior, they moved me on the interior line for a period of time. I played some time at linebacker, and I also played some guard too, because they just needed help. And no one would think it because I'm so small, but I pack a wallop
Mean
when
punch.
I want to. And when I played in college, I played as a safety. So
Okay. And I think this is a great last question from Briggs, who's a smart kid. I love this question. What is your favorite thing about football? I asked Bubba this question too.
No, that's a fantastic question. Football made me who I am. I was a very, very shy kid. Back then, before it was cool to have comic books and stuff, I was like the comic book. This is in the 90s. That was like literally like I might as well be the biggest dork in the world. Like, would just sit in my house. I never went out. Like I was one of those kids that their friends would be friends with me at home, but not friends with me at school. But when I started playing football, I found a family, and I threw myself into that family, and that bond that I had with them lasts to this day. The friends that I still have that I grew up with are my friends that I played football with. I thank my head coach that instilled discipline in me and made me a man. Basically a scared boy, a scared kid into someone that became self-confident. And it took me years to get there. I mean, even past football, but the lessons that it taught me meant so much for me in life, and it taught me never to give up. Life is gonna punch you in the mouth over and over, and all of us, some of us have gone through some terrible things, and I'm not gonna, everyone here watching has gone through different things in their lives, have seen terrible things, have been part of, and you have to be able to react like that, because this is life. This is all, we're all here for every one of us is gonna die one day.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a cryptic thing to say on a sports show, but it's true. Like, it's what you do with your time here that matters, because we only have a limited amount of time here. What lasting effect do you have? And I feel like all of these are lessons that I kind of learned. Don't give up, no matter how much you get knocked down, no matter how much you get punched, no matter how much you just pick yourself off the mat, even when you don't want to. On those days that you feel like, man, I'm so depressed, I can't even get out of bed. No, get up. I hear my coach behind me. Do not quit on me. Do not. And if you ever hear me coach, I am repeating the words said to me, the words that were drilled into me as a kid. Do not give up. Do not quit on me. You can do this. I would never put you in a situation that would harm you. Understand that you can push yourself past what you think you can do. I feel like that's so important. And it's an important lesson that I don't know that's taught to kids today. I feel like they're given outs for everything now. And it's so much easier for them to have an out now, because now the world's connected differently. You don't have to go outside to make friends anymore. You don't have to apply yourself. You hear all these stories about kids taking their parents to interviews because they can't interview. We're keeping kids as kids until they're 26. Like, we need to go back to creating human beings here that are self-sufficient. It's the only way we're going to survive.
Yeah.
And I think that football creates a framework. People may not agree with everything about football, and I totally get that. Maybe the sport's not for you. But the lessons, and this will go for any kind of sport. Have your kid play a sport, a team sport. Don't get me wrong, I love wrestling. It's still a team sport too, but that's an individual one-on-one type of thing. But team sports where you have to work, and it teaches you to work with somebody, because everybody has a job. And if I don't do my job, then I'm hurting the person next to me. So, learn to work with people. Learn to work with people you don't like. You may not like your teammate. And I tell the kids this all the time. You may not like each other all the time, but you're a family. I'm like, and you need to be able to sell yourself out. Like, you need to put them before you. It's important that it's sacrifice. You're sacrificing, and that's the other thing I like about football. You're sacrificing your body for this town. That's what I tell them. You're sacrificing your body for this town and for and for your teammates.
Yep.
Like, it's one of those things where, like, it teaches them that there are things in this world that are bigger than you. So work towards those things and work together. And because you're going to be you're going to work for, not everyone's going to be the boss. You may work for somebody, but you're going to have to work with a team, and you need to be able to work with people. You have to have relationships with people. And that's just, it just again, in my opinion, it prepares you for life. It really does. And I want every one of these kids to come out of these programs and come out of Boulder City. And I want all the kids from everywhere else to work for our kids, because our kids are those guys. Mm-hmm. That's who they are, because they came through and they did this here. And now they're the type of people that are leaders, not followers.
Well, that's a great answer. That's a great question.
It is a great question. You came up with it.
I didn't. That's all Briggs.
That's right. Briggs brought up the question. I'm sorry.
And that is the kind of question he would ask. He's a smart
Briggs
kid.
Is brilliant.
He's
a smart kid. Really
we're gonna wrap it up there. Do you have anything to close with tonight?
No. Look, we're opening up the season. While I always want to win, the most important thing is for the kids to play whistle to whistle and never give up. That's the one thing that is the true constant. Is I don't care what the score is. I don't care what's going on. I don't care that you're losing. You don't put your head down. You go out there and you try. And you try to look at what the varsity team did with Clark. I know you didn't have the coaches show with Bubba this week, but I was so proud of those kids.
Never
against
give
a
up.
Team that's probably one of the top teams in 4A.
Yep.
And we almost beat them.
Yep.
Because we fought down to the last minute of the game.
Sure did.
There was not a person in that stands that was not proud of those kids. And it shows you what's going on here. This ecosystem of football that's going on in this town right now. That's what's happening. We're developing those people. And so that's what I ask of my kids. That's what I ask for people who are watching. Like, if things get tough, don't give up. Mm-hmm. Like, don't give up on us. Like, we're gonna work our butts off, and we're gonna try to make Boulder City proud. That's what's important. Like this town, the name across the front of our chest is more important than the one on the back of our jerseys. It's Boulder City, and that's why we're doing this.
That's great. Your passion can be felt, and we appreciate it, James. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
I'm sorry if I kind of go
No,
off. I
it's
am
fine.
a very passionate person. I'm an
Yeah.
Italian from New York. It's kind of what I do.
No, we love it. That's why we love having you here and having you part of the Bears. Really want to thank you for being here tonight. The future of Eagles football is in good hands. Parents or kids, anybody who wants to get involved, go to BoulderCityBears.com or follow us at Boulder City Bears on Instagram, Facebook. Opening weekend is this Saturday. Get out there, cheer these kids on. And that's it for tonight. We'll be back next week with Coach Bubba, as usual. So good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks,
night,
James.
everyone.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.